Hello, YouTube. I am live streaming on here for the first time in a while because I've just been riled up lately about Substack. And if you've never heard of Substack, it is a writing platform, writing first, I will say, because there are video features, there are live stream features, there are other types of features, but really the bread and butter of Substack is long form essay type writing, which previously Medium, if some of you guys may have heard of Medium used to kind of be the king of that. Those days are over for whatever reasons. Haven't really researched this a ton, but Medium has kind of had its own downfall. But Substack has just been this wellspring and oasis in the midst of a lot of the, excuse my French, bullshit of social media. I am also fairly active on Instagram and TikTok and Threads and elsewhere. And I have just noticed that the level of authenticity and positivity on Substack just blows basically every other social media platform out of the water. So I started writing on it about a year and a half ago. And since then, I've grown by like 265, I think, 265 subscribers, which may not sound like a lot of people. Like if you have an Instagram account with 265 followers, you're not necessarily crushing it. But a lot of people say that like one subscriber on Substack or one like weekly, someone who's like subscribed to your newsletter on there is worth like 1,000 like followers on Instagram, just because of the level of engagement that you get when it's email based. Like when you post on Substack, it shows up in people's inboxes and their emails. So you basically have a one-to-one assumption of, if I post on here, I know that it's going to end up in their inbox. Whereas on social media, it's completely relevance and content based. So you could have an audience of 100,000 followers, but if your content isn't good, it might only get 500 views. And I like literally know people on TikTok and Instagram who have massive followings, but somehow still can post videos that will get 500 views and one like and a comment. So all that being said, Substack is a way to own your audience. It's positive. People out there are so supportive. Literally the other day, I wrote an article that I was really stoked on, that it was about the six charismatic mindsets of hyperconnectors, of people that are really, really good at connecting with people. And pretty shortly after I posted it, one guy like reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, I really loved this post." He had like a way bigger following than me, and was like, "Hey, I want to feature this post and like your profile on my newsletter this coming Monday, just because I want to support you and just because I really love your message." His account was like Porn Free Millennial, I think was like the name of his account. And I immediately subscribed. I'm like, this guy's a G. Like, this is a legendary topic, a legendary guy going after it on here. And like, that is just a typical interaction. I will just say I have so many interactions like that on Substack that are constantly blowing my mind, of the level of engagement, the quality of engagement, the quality of people that are on there is insane. And also like a 30-minute scroll on Instagram will leave you brain dead just with the amount of ridiculous stuff that you see. Hypersexualization, hyper politicization, all this stuff that's so extreme. 30 minutes of reading and digesting content and people's writing on Substack is almost always enriching to my life. People write in such beautiful ways. Like, we have forgotten, I think, as a species, that slow creation is so much better than fast creation. And just the slow art of like reading words that someone took the time to write and processed and edit and think through over and over again is probably going to be beat out like some girl dancing on TikTok 10 times out of 10. Like, it's just a much better experience and it makes you a better person. So I'm not sponsored by Substack. I wish that I was. I wish that I somehow could make money by like plugging them, because I really do believe in them that much. But if you're here on YouTube and you've been sort of struggling to get into a really good rhythm of creating content, growing your audience, I'll just say there is energy on Substack right now that I haven't seen on any other platform in 2025. And I also have found that developing written content, long form written content, is one of the best ways to develop short form content. So like, for instance, a long time ago, maybe a year ago, one of my top performing posts on Substack, I wrote 9 rules for friendship in a lonely world, because friendship is one of the main themes I love writing about. It's one of my favorite things to think about, talk about with other people. And I'm just increasingly seeing that our world is struggling to build beautiful, authentic, connected relationships. So I wrote this 9 rules for friendship in a lonely world. It did well on Substack. And a few months later, I was like, you know what? I think I could actually, if I speed ran this and said it as succinctly as possible, I think this could work as short form. And so I went on to TikTok and just said, hey, I've been a groomsman in 16 people's weddings. That maybe is like a signifier that I've been a good friend to people in my life. I hope that it is. And if you feel like that's a good enough reason to listen to me, here are 9 rules for friendship in a lonely world. And I just listed out all the things that I said on my Substack post, but as succinctly as I could. And that ended up being like one of my best TikToks ever. And it got all these saves, all these shares. It, I think, has like 5,000 or 6,000 views now, which for an account that has just over 1,000 followers is like pretty good to me. So anyway, I just think that a lot of times people just try to jump the gun of mulling ideas over and processing them and slow creation. And they just want to open their phone, open their camera, and just blurt out something that's going to go viral on social media. But what Substack has taught me is that going slow and like really taking the time to think, like when you, I don't know how many people watching this are writers, but like if you have a blank page that you're trying to write on open in front of you, it's not something that you can just speed run. Like you can't get through it that fast. You have to sit and really wrestle with ideas. And I truly believe that that's one of the best ways to develop solid content, is to wrestle with it through writing and long form and going back and editing it, going back and reworking it. We have amazing tools with ChatGPT and other things now that allow us to find 10 variations of the thing that we wrote to find the best one. Like there's so much of a tailwind with this that it makes it really easy to develop amazing long form written content. But then once you have that, you can either chunk that out into short form content and make each point that you made in a long form piece into a short form piece of content, or you can just condense it like I did and just say it as succinctly as possible. There's a lot of ways that you can go about it, but taking the time to sit and think and process your thoughts before they become content through long form is worth it. So I probably talked way too long at this point, but just hear me that I really think the opportunity on Substack right now is massive and it's only growing. I have just continued to see friends and people that I know get on there and take off. I had one friend named Madeline who actually is one of the founders of an amazing soda company, or like a actually sparkling water company called Ora Bora, that now is sold all over the world. She was on Shark Tank. They sell it in Whole Foods and stuff. She went on to Substack and started a blog called Fantasy Camp, where she writes prompts for people to like create fantasy novels with. She like is basically a fantasy novel doula. That's like what her blog is. It's so beautiful. And she got on like, months after I did, but she had such a great idea for her blog and she's so good at writing that she has easily over 1,000 subscribers now. And I also haven't mentioned this yet, but you can really easily monetize Substack. It is like, there are so many features on there that are built to monetize your following by offering basically like a free blog and then a paid blog, or having paid features to your blog. Some people have a paywall to get to a podcast about their blog, or like some people read each blog that they write and they will paywall that if you want to like have their voice sort of guide you through it. There's all kinds of ways you can do it. I haven't been super successful in this yet. I have 3 paid subscribers, which I think brings in like a total of, I want to say it's close to $400 a year for me, which to me isn't a lot. It pays for like a coffee every once in a while, which is awesome. But yeah, I think this girl Madeline has managed to monetize it really well. And there are plenty of people making a full-time living just writing newsletters on Substack. And so if you're successful, things can go great. But there are a million reasons other than just making money that I really believe that Substack is going to be one of the biggest opportunities in 2025. So if you have any questions about it, of my experience or why I think it's great, feel free to drop them in the comments. Go check out my blog on there. I'll leave it in the description of this video. But yeah, guys, go crush it in 2025. If you're a creator, friggin' bless you. It's a hard time to create. It is a distracting time to create. It is a hard time to know ourselves well enough to express ourselves fully. And that's why I'm a believer in long form. I'm a believer in journaling. And writing in general. So yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you watching this whole video. It's going to be a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.